Party people, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are working on day 12, which is my holiday playlist. And you guys, I have been dreaming about recreating an advent calendar that I saw Be Valent post on Instagram since, like, I think she posted it in like November, and I have been dreaming about recreating it for my holiday playlist, and it did not disappoint. So I will quickly show you how it works, and then if you're interested, you can see how I made it. So this is attached to this with some Velcro. This comes down, and then you can access the little envelopes, and there's 6 songs on this side, and then you flip them down and you can access the other 6. And there, my 12 songs that are on my holiday playlist are in the book. I try to pick 12 new songs every year. My holiday playlist definitely, I mean, there's the classics that you never leave, but I try to add some new songs, and there are definitely some favorites on this list, and I'm so pleased with how this came out. So if you want to see how I put it together, then please keep watching. All right, party people, let's get to work. So like I said in the intro, this was heavily inspired by an advent calendar that I saw Be Valent make on Instagram, and I'm sharing the dimensions of the one I made if you want to recreate this one. I highly recommend you go to her Instagram and watch her do it, and then she has a blog post. I will link her Instagram page in the description box if you aren't already following her. But what I did was I cut my cardstock to 6 1/4 wide and 7 1/2 long. And then I scored it at 1 1/2 and 4 1/2, and then folded in on itself, and then scored it again at 3 3/4. And then what you do is you take the 4 corners and you fold it in on itself until it meets the score line. This is like really easy. When I watched her make it, it was like, it's so inspiring. And she made hers much smaller, but this is a really easy project to adapt to make a larger envelope. My envelopes are larger than her envelope was. And then you fold in the scored sides on each other. Now you have to make sure that there's an overlap. So that's why the envelope is 6 1/4 wide instead of 6 inches, to make sure there's an overlap to fold in on itself. And then you fold it in half. And I'm showing you the 6 envelopes that I made. I made mine in advance because I went through my crate paper, holiday paper stash, and picked a bunch of papers. And now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to anchor this together. Now, when I watched her do it, I think she just taped a piece of string to the back of her page. But I wanted something a little bit more secure since it was going to be in the album. So what I did was, first I punched holes in my paper, and this is the mistake I made. I didn't do this the first time. This is the second version of this. I didn't punch the holes the first time, and then I attached it and realized that there was nowhere to punch my holes. So first I punched my holes so I could figure out where to put my brads, and then I put 2 brads, 1 1/2 inch from the bottom, and then another pair of brads 3 1/2 inches from the bottom. And what that does is it gives me places to wrap my string around. And then I took some neutral dark gray embroidery floss, wrapped them around both set of brads, and that gave me pretty much two tracks for me to attach my envelopes. If you've seen B's version, then you understand exactly what I'm doing. What I'm doing, it's kind of creating almost like a clothesline for a place to anchor my envelopes. And then I slide my envelopes in, and I realized after I did this that I put the 2 white envelopes, the 2 black and white envelopes on top of each other. I wish that I had separated them a little bit better. I don't think it matters, but now that I'm looking at it, I wish I had separated the black and white envelopes just a little bit. And then you stick the envelopes on itself. And what this does is it creates a double-sided envelope. She used wet glue for hers. I just used double-sided tape runner. If I would do this again, I think I would use score tape, because score tape is just a little bit more sticky in the long run than this double-sided tape runner. I wanted to use this because I wanted to be able to like take it apart and fiddle with it and make sure that the edges met the way I wanted them to. But if you're going to do this outside of the page protector, I highly recommend using an adhesive that's going to cure and going to last. I kept putting the stamp block on mine, so you see I'm fiddling with the stamp block over and over, and I just use the stamp block to add some weight. Now once it goes in the album and the album's closed on itself, it's going to have weight, but I just recommend that you use an adhesive that you know is going to last. Now I'm using my confetti circle punch, and the reason, well, there's a few reasons why I'm using my confetti circle punch. Number one, the main reason, is I can't find my 1-inch circle punch. I have no idea where it went. The secondary reason was I thought it would be fun to have different size circles, and I'm using the circles to number my my Spotify screenshots. Like, language is hard for me today. I'm using the circles to number my Spotify screenshots. So I just punched out a bunch of circles on white cardstock, and then I used the gold number I think these are rose gold, copper, the metallic number stickers that are in the main kit to number 1 to 12. Well, actually 1 to 11, because I ran out of ones. And then I was like, well, since this is day 12, maybe I'll use a different number to indicate number 12, which again was not on purpose. It was perfectly force of necessity because I used all my ones and I couldn't find my second sheet of this. I know there's 2 sheets because I used the other sheet for day 10. I couldn't find my second sheet, so necessity is the mother of invention, right? So I pulled out my number stash. You've probably seen this a multitude of times at this point, and I went through it to see if there were any small 12s, and lo and behold, I had a tiny wood veneer 12. I have no idea where it came from. My numbers are all mixed up in that page protector system, and it makes it really easy to find something. Like, I literally just opened up my 12 packet and was like, is there a 12 that's going to fit? And I found a tiny little cork 12, and it fit on the largest circle. So it's kind of perfect because it stands out. It's larger than the other sizes. And then the big cork stands out compared to the foil puffy stickers. So then I just took my wet glue and I glued down my numbers to my songs. And now these are in no particular order except for number 12, which is Over the River by Pentatonics featuring Lindsey Sterling. Every time I listen to it, I want to dance. Like, I can't help myself. Every single time I listen to it, I want to dance. I don't know why it gets to me so much, but it like, I don't know, it makes me so happy. So now I'm going in here and popping it. I'm putting the 12 front and center, and that is the only one. See, I realized that I glued my pocket shut, so I have to open my pocket back up. But I'm putting the 12 front and center. That is the only like song that gets a position that really matters. The rest of them, I'm scattering based on the size of the circle and also trying to make sure that there aren't consecutive numbers next to each other. That's really it. You only see the first 6 numbers anyway, so as long as I made sure that the 6 in front were not consecutive, it could have been completely different what I did with the back, but I just went in and fiddled with it and put in the photos. And then I grabbed these these are red. The red glitter chipboard hearts that I used on day 11, they were still on my desk, so it was like perfect embellishment. Now I'm trying to figure out how to title this, and I went ahead and pulled out the digital stamp again. I think I've used this digital stamp this is probably the 3rd time that I've used it, and every single time I've used it, I've made a cut file. I think I made the cut file for day 7, I made the cut file for day 10, and now I'm making another cut file for day 12. So this will clearly be one of the elements that ties my album together. I like having repetitive elements because it helps make a continuous project. It makes the things look more cohesive. So I cut it out on the same dark green paper that I made one envelope out of, and I'm using another black and white paper that I use as a backing to put my title on top of. And again, these are just things that help make something a little bit more cohesive, just repeating patterns, repeating elements. I'm putting these gold. These are not gold. These red glitter. How many times will I do that? These red glitter chipboard hearts on top of the title in the spaces where the filled in letters should be. At first I was like, should I fill in those letters? And then I was like, no. And now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to actually put this in the album, because again, when B did this, hers was a standalone page and I need mine to go in an album. Hers was designed to stand up on a desk, and it was actually an advent calendar. So first thing I did was I was like, I need a belt. So I took a 12 by 12 piece of paper and cut 2.5 inch strips and then overlapped them because I needed it to be wider than an 11-inch page, with at least 2 inches on either side to fold in on itself. And I didn't have 15-inch paper lying around, so I just used one 12 by 12 sheet, cut into 2 strips and layered it on itself, and then I scored it on either side at the 2-inch mark. And now I'm just using some tape runner to attach my belt to the back of the page. Remember yesterday when I was saying that my album wasn't super bulky and I might be able to get all 25 days in one project? I'm going to need a couple of flat pages before I start going off the rails again, if I even want that to be a possibility after the tomfoolery from day 11 and day 12. But it's okay. I think my stories for 13 to 15 might be a lot easier to fit in. So maybe they'll take up less space. All right, so now I'm fiddling with my belt, and then I'm realizing that I don't have a way to attach my title. So I took another strip of the same pattern paper, again, just using the same things that I had on my desk over and over. I cut a 2-inch wide strip of it, scored it at 1 inch, and then I'm attaching that to the bottom of my title and then attaching the other side to the bottom of my page. And all this does is creates a flip out. Like, that's literally what we're doing. We're creating a flip out, but what it does is it lets my title hang off without disappearing. So there we go. See, that's my belt. I'm super happy with how it looks. And then I'm like, how could I attach this? And Velcro. I have these Velcro stickers. I got them on Amazon. They are a hot mess. Do not judge me. They're a hot mess because they came in a box and it was the silliest packaging ever. But I have these Velcro stickers and I'm putting a Velcro sticker on either side of my belt. The Velcro stickers are 5/8 of an inch, and that is how it closes. And then what I did off camera was I punched the holes again in the black belt to match where the holes are already punched in. And it literally fits in the album perfectly. It unfolds, and then you can mess with the envelope. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope it inspires you to take something you've seen someone else make and adapt it for your own work. So I will see you again for day 13. Until next time, keep it crafty and have the very best day, and I'll see you around. Bye for now.